श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्के केसरी वेदांत आचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि पुरट्टासि श्रवणं तिरुवोणम स्वामी देशिकन त्रिनक्षत्रम. It is our duty and a privilege, a great bhagyam to talk in praise and contemplate and enjoy the glories and the greatness of our Acharya saarvabhouman Swami Vedanta Desika. Acharya Srimad Paravakotte Andavan Swami Sri Gopala Desika Mahadesikan used to say that Sri Brahmatantra Swatantra, the direct disciple of Swami Desikan, used to even prostrate even the residents of Swami Desikan, Tirumalige of Swami Desikan. He used to perform dandavat pranamam as Swami himself. The residence is Swami himself. And Acharyan is the complete dispeller of all our papams. He removes the darkness from our minds and removes the ajnanam, the ignorance. He gives us the new birth, Vidya Janmam. He is considered to be the father, the Pita, and the mantram which he initiates us with is the mother. This Janmam, birth, places us on the path, on the margam, on the way that leads us to an end, to all our future birth and death. He is the one who blesses us with the divine vision. He has infinite daya, kripai, compassion towards us, the Shishyas. Acharyan is always to be worshipped as the Lord himself. Swami Desikan himself says, Acharyadika devatam samadikam anyamna manyamahe. One should never harbor any feeling that he is doing a good return for what Acharya has done. Cannot be possible. It's only a token of our gratitude. Adiyan is only briefly reading the wonderful book written by Professor A.S. Srinivasa Raghavachar. It is our audience desire to talk about Swami Desikan. Swami Desikan, he was born to Sri Ananta Suri and Srimati Totaramba Amanga at Tupul near Kanchipuram. He is believed to have been the very avataram of Lord Srinivasa's Ghantamani, the divine temple bell. He derived the name Gantavataram to the Taniyan. Because of this, his intellectual brilliance was completely visible, discernible, even from his childhood. Once as a child of 5 years, he was taken to the Sadas. There was a Kalakshepam Goshti of Sri Nadadur Ammal, the religious assembly of Bhagavatas. Nadadur Ammal Kalakshepa Goshti, the child was taken by his maternal uncle by name Sri Appullar, who was mainly responsible for Swami Desikan's learning in the religious line. Nadadur Ammal and his disciples were so enchanted, attracted, captivated by the divine appearance of the little boy Venkatanathan. He was named Venkatanathan. They were diverted for some time, distracted, and forgot what they were discussing before the boy stepped in. It was the little boy Venkatanatha who came to the rescue by pointing out the place of the discourse, by repeating the words Nadadur Ammal was narrating, from where their diversion took place. Their attention was distracted. They were all simply stupefied on seeing the extraordinary intellect and brilliance of Venkatanatha at that 5 years of age. And Sri Nadadunammal immediately was overwhelmed with joy and admiration. He blessed him for a great future where he would succeed in establishing the philosophy of Bhagavad Ramanuja and the previous Acharya in an unassailable position and in an unambiguous manner. Another intellectual feat of Sri Vedanta Desika was his ability to revise Sri Bhashyam 20 times before he was even 20 years of age. We all know about his wonderful life. His life was one of perfect austerity, vairagya, and deep devotion, particularly to the Archamurti of Kanchipuram. He was very much enchanted in Divya Desam Archamurti, similar to Trimangai Mannan. He also had a special abiding devotion to the Lord Varadan, Kanchi Varadan. Just like Sri Ramanujacharya, his Aradhya Devata was Sri Perarulalan. He led a very simple life. He earned his livelihood by taking alms from the devotees, Unchavritti. The rice he gathered like that was used for his food after offering to Bhagavan in his Thiruvaradhana. One day some kind Bhagavata in his neighborhood offered the rice along with few gold coins so that Swami's poverty will be removed. So that day his wife found some gold coins in the rice he got from the philanthropic public. Immediately, probably some well-mentioned person, so with good intentions, wanted to help Swami Desikan without his knowledge, perhaps. As soon as this was found out, Swami threw the entire collection of the day away on the street. This is an example of his vairagya. Steadfast, firm vairagyam. Another instance of his vairagyam, when Vidyaranyar, a royal Vidwan in early Vijayanagaram, at the court of Vijayanagaram, there was a royal Vidwan by name Vidyaranyar. Once he was the classmate of our Venkatanatha, Vedanta Desika. Hearing about Swami Desikan languishing in penury and knowing his extraordinary knowledge, skills, intellectual talents, he sent a message to Vedanta Desika inviting him and asking him to come to the court of Vijayanagara king, where he would be honored with riches, with enough wealth. Swami Desikan refused to go, saying that he is not after wealth, adding that he was already provided with the greatest wealth bequeathed to him by his grandfather, the Chaturmukha Brahma. Nasti pitirarjitam kinchit, na maya kinchitarjitam, hasti me hasti shailagre vastu paitamaham danam. Meaning that Lord Varadan, Attigiri Varadan, has been passed on to me by my great-grandfather, Chaturmukha Brahma. This is conveyed to his friend in the form of 5 slokas called Vairagya Panchakam. Swami's Paduka Sahasram is yet another masterpiece of work containing 1008 slokams, praising the Padukas, the sandals of Lord Ranganathan of Sri Rangam. He completed the 1008 slokas in one yamam, about 3 hours in the night, later part of the night. It is said that this piece of extraordinary work was composed by him when challenged by another Bhagavatottama. From Srirangam, he flew to Satyakalam, a place at Karnataka, fearing the Muslims' invasion, depredations. Abhidistavam on Lord Ranganathan, containing 29 slokams, was brought out in Satyakalam to ward off the fear, the evil caused by the Muslim marauders. After the terror had subsided, he returned to Srirangam to spend his last days. He attained the lotus feet of Acharya on the Kartigai day. In fact, he was born on a Thiruvonakshatram, the day when the first Alvar took avataram, Poigai Alvar. He attained Acharyan Trivadi on a Kartigai day. The last Alvar, Thirumangai Alvar, had taken avataram. His Yadavabhyudayam, a Mahakavyam, a great epic on Lord Krishna, was admired very much by the renowned Advaita philosopher Appaya Dikshitar in the 16th century. He wrote a commentary also on this Mahakavya as a mark of appreciation by him. But he could not write even more than 4 slokas, because the first 4 slokas itself immersed him and drowned him with such beauty, marvel, technicalities, that he was simply flabbergasted with the literary niceties, the nuances, and stopped after 4 slokas of this kavyam, whose commentary itself ran to pages after pages. In fact, he had written number of works on Sanskrit and commented upon the work of Ramanuja and Yamuna. He wrote poems, religious works, 28 stotrams. A mere reading of the list of his works itself is more than 100. That itself is breathtaking. He wrote 18 works in Tamil, 29 works in Manipravalam, a great mix of Tamil and Sanskrit. He also wrote a Nataka Grantham, Sankalpa Suryodayam. He wrote several Ragasya Granthams. His aim in writing is more than one. Dr. V. Varadachari says, firstly, the system of unparalleled great Vishishtadvaita Sri Vaishnava Sri should be kept on a firm basis and stronger footing. Secondly, the Nyaya Tattvam of Sriman Nathamuni, which deals with the topics of Nyayam, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and treated in a manner to interpret the doctrines, the Tattvams, in the light of the Vedanta system. And thirdly, Ramanuja's concepts, the theory, were attacked by the opponents relentlessly. The refutations need to be answered, counterattacked, and dismissed, and Ramanuja's Sampradayam philosophy established then and there. Fourthly, the writers after Sri Ramanuja were not in a position to evolve the metaphysical, logical theory consistent with the teachings of Ramanuja. They required to be given shape in the light of Emperumana's teaching. Fifthly, some of the Acharyas after Ramanuja did excellent service to Sri Vaishnavam by their exposition of Tamil Divya Prabandhams, Nalayar Divya Prabandham of Alvar, but not established their position in an unshakable foundation with regard to philosophy. If only Swami Vedanta Desika, who not only established Sri Ramanuja Sampradayam on firm footing with his various works, also he repulsed the attacks on the importance of Nalayar Divya Prabandham and placed them on par with Vedas as the very fountain source of the Vedanta system. Sri Vedanta Desika is the author of 120 plus works. His style is inimitable for the depth of slokams. The ideas, the sweetness, the simplicity, the ease, majestic, sometimes tough. Katoro Sukumara Gumpa Gambiram, he himself says about Raghuvira Gadyam. He was a great admirer of Adikavi Valmiki and Kalidasa. His poetic work Hamsa Sandesam, though similar to Kalidasa's Mega Sandesam, is original in many respects. Daya Satakam is a unique composition wherein he personifies Daya, grace, divine grace, Daya, as Daya Devi. He is the one, because he belongs to the Kaushika Gotram, he is the one who created the personification of Daya and the personification of Paduka, Daya Devi and Paduka Devi, just like sage Vishwamitra. Without Daya, the Lord's other qualities are of no value or little value and help to suffering mankind, Swami Desika says. Abhitistavam is an invocation for the Lord's protection from evil forces from both within us and outside. His Goda Stuti is a piece of great lyric beauty and merit and talks of Sri Goda's Andal's influence with the Lord through love and Desikan Sharanagati to her compassion. Such a wonderful granthams he had. His Ragasya Granthas, Raksha Granthams are all simply mesmerizing. There is one Grantha called Nikchepa Raksha. So, Nikchepa Raksha, he talks about Prapatti, Sharanagati. The title Nikchepa Raksha receives justification on the ground that the doctrine of self-surrender, Sharanagati, gets well fortified. Prapatti or Sharanagati was being observed as a direct means to moksha, even before Ramanuja. And Ramanuja gave a reorientation to it in his Gadyatrayam. It is known from the Jitante Stotram, sung by the Sanat Sanaka Kumara Munivas, that Prapatti is a direct and sufficient means to moksha. Even for the commencement of Bhakti Yogam, Prapatti is absolutely essential, Sharanagati. It is the grace, Daya, Kripai of Supreme Most Compassionate Perumal, Divya Dampati, who grants the fruit of any sadhana as Siddhopayam, while Bhakti Yogam and Prapatti is the Sadhyopayam. Swami Sri Vedanta Desika's Srimad Rahasyatraya Saram has stood as an authority on the religion of Sharanagati. Desika deals exclusively with Sharanagati in a number of his stotrams also. Nyasa Dasakam, Nyasa Vimshati, Nyasa Tilakam, Sharanagati Deepika, and Adaikala Pattu, a Prabandham in Tamil, deals with this doctrine of Sharanagati, self-surrender. More than all this, Vedanta Desika's work in Sanskrit, namely Nikshepa Raksha, in defense of Prapatti. Nikshepa Raksha is one of the finest granthams written by Swami Desikan. And of course, we have the Satcharita Raksha, which is divided into three parts. Sudarsana Panchajanya Dharana Vidhi, Urdhva Pundra Dharana Vidhi, Bhagavan Nivedityopa Yoga Vidhi. So, the first one, the sacrament of a Vaishnava having the marks of Chakra and Shanku on the shoulders. The Urdhva Pundra Dharana Vidhi stresses the need, importance to wear the Urdhva Pundram, the vertical mark on the forehead, with white mud with streak of red or yellow in the middle. And Bhagavan Niveditopaya Yoga Vidhi. Third division, the third one stresses the Bhagavan Naivedyam. The food prepared for consumption is to be offered to Perumal first, and then only to be partaken by others in their respective Tirumalikas. These three acts mark the good conduct of a Sri Vaishnava, and Swami Desikan established them with Shastra pranamams. So wonderfully, Swami Desika glorifies the Sharanagati Prapatti. And of course, Swami's brilliant philosophical treatise, the Tattva Mukta Kalapa, stands out as the most important work. This work consisting of the saram, the strand of 5 major topics: the substance, dravyam, the individual self, jiva, the Ishvara, gold, buddhi, knowledge, adravya, non-substance, is compared to the pearl necklace with all these strands combined and beautifully and coherently. Vedanta Desika's Tattvamukta Kalabam is an ornament offered to the God in bhakti. Such a beautiful manner he talks about. It is to establish the doctrine of Visishtadvaita Vedanta on a sound basis through a critical evaluation of the corresponding doctrine advocated by the rival schools of thought. There is no topic in philosophy which is not discussed in this work. It covers all the most important philosophical, epistemological, cosmological, and religious doctrines of Visishtadvaita Vedanta system. What is not considered here cannot be found elsewhere. This reflects the statement made by sage Vedavyasa in Mahabharata also. Swami Desikan, in the concluding portion of Tattvamukta Kalaba, says, I have examined this work very carefully, almost all topics related to both pranamams and pranamams at some place or the other. Until this day, the only source of authority for deciding any controversial philosophical epistemological issue in Visishtadvaita Vedanta is the views of Vedanta Desika as expressed in Tattvamukta Kalapam and Sarvartha Siddhi. Truly, it is the important compendium of all topics in Visishtadvaita Vedanta. Nowhere in his work does Vedanta Desika adopt dialectical arguments to condemn a theory. He uses them to elucidate important and establish the soundness of Sri Ramanuja Darshanam, the unparalleled Visishtadvaita Vedanta, by pointing out the defects in the views of the opponents. This is an excellent book, Tattvamukta Kalapa. Swami Sri S.M.S. Acharya had written on fundamentals of Visishtadvaita based on Swami Desikan's Tattvamukta Kalapa. Swami Desikan himself wrote a commentary on Tattvamukta Kalapam called Sarvartha Siddhi. It contains all that is to be known by a student of philosophy. It's a very scholarly and comprehensive commentary exhibiting author's encyclopedic knowledge of all systems of Indian philosophy. This is very much evident from the way he has stated succinctly the views of other schools of thought by quoting the relevant statements from their original works, which they themselves would not have been aware, and clearly establishes Ramanuja Darshanam, the superiority of it, and rejects theirs, and find the follies of their system. That's why Swami Desikan, according to tradition, was conferred the title Sarvajñan, Sarvatantra Swatantra, as one possessing comprehensive knowledge par excellence on the basis of his masterly work Tattvamukta Kalapa and Sarvartha Siddhi. One can go on talking about Swami Desikan's brilliance and his contribution to our Ramanuja Sampradayam in an unparalleled manner. Na bhuto na bhavishyati. There cannot be anyone equal to Swami Desikan. Satrallavo munnam petradarke. Adiyan Swami Acharyan Trivedigalai Sharanam. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi Adiyan.